Hey guys, I'm doing well today. Today I'll be previewing the first Bledisloe Cup match between New Zealand and Australia. This is a huge game. The game's being played at Sky Stadium within Wellington, so hopefully New Zealand can rely on a good homework that they normally have. But Australia, you never know. They could upset. This could be an upset here. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this game has a lot of exciting things about it. I mean, one, it's just we get to see international rugby back again, which is great for all rugby fans. Two, both sides are reasonably new. I mean, especially with the coaches, with Ian Foster being the new coach for the All Blacks and Dave Reddy being the new coach for Australia. This will be like the first international game they really play. It's huge for them as well. I mean, yeah, and the teams that they've just selected have come out recently. I think it's only come out a day ago, but I wanted to give you guys more of an in-depth, within my opinion, just about the teams and the selection that they've chosen. I'll start off with New Zealand. New Zealand have gone with Joe Moody at number 1. They've gone with Cody Taylor number 2, Alpha Tunafasi at 3, Patrick Tuipulotu at 4, Sam Whitelock at 5. They've gone with Shannon Frizzell at 6, Sam Cane at 7, who's the captain of the side, and at 8 they've gone with Artie Sevilla. That's the 4-pack for New Zealand there. I mean, I think it's pretty strong. I mean, I'd say most of the selection there was kind of, you could probably predict yourself, really. I mean, with the likes of their front row with Moody, Taylor, and Tunafasi, I think that's kind of a given that all 3 of those players would definitely start. I mean, with Moody and Taylor just being in great form for the Crusaders throughout Super Rugby Aotearoa, as well as Alpha Tunafasi really for the Blues. I totally agree with that selection there with all 3 of them really, and they can definitely bring something to that scrum as well. With a lock selection, I think that's another easy picking really with Tuipulotu and Whitelock. I mean, those are the 2 most experienced locks you have really within New Zealand. And like I said before within previous videos, New Zealand are very low on lock selections, and it's just good to see that you have like 2 at least decent, or you could say above decent, locks within the country with Tuipulotu and Whitelock, and they both bring different things really. Like while Whitelock is really more of he's better in the line out, I'd say, than Tuipulotu. But Tuipulotu is just a better ball carrier, so that's something that they can both bring different attributes really to the game. But with a loose 4-pack with Frizzell, Cane, and Sevilla, I'd probably say it was the most likely loose 4-pack you're going to get, and it's kind of the most predictable one. Personally, I have a few. I know this sounds bad, obviously, because he is the captain, but I personally wouldn't put Sam Cane within the starting lineup. I know you have to because he is the captain and everything. But what I would have done is that I would have gone Shannon Frizzell at 6, keep him there. He's brilliant. I mean, he's been brilliant for the Highlanders throughout Super Rugby Aotearoa, so definitely keep him in there. I would have shifted Artie Sevilla to 7, and I would have given Hoskins Tutu his debut, his All Blacks debut at 8. So that's what I would have done. But I'm not really gonna disagree that much with selecting Sam Cane within 7 because he can do that job. He is literally the best 7 in terms of like tackling. So and you need to have that defensive attribute really when you're having that 7 in that 7 spot, and you're going against someone in Australia who's known for that. So you need to kind of like counter it in a way. But I'm pretty happy with that selection overall though with Artie Sevilla. I mean he can do a job at 8 easily. I mean he's one of the best best loose forwards in the world. So he'll do a job there for sure. Moving on to the backs for the All Blacks. At number 9 they've selected Aaron Smith. At number 10 they've gone Richie Mo'unga. At 11 they've gone with George Bridge. At 12 they're going with Jack Goodhue. 13 they're going with Rieko Ioane. 14 they're going with Jordie Barrett, and at 15 they're going with Beauden Barrett. There's some interesting selections there really. I mean the first big obvious selection really is that they're going back to the system of having Richie Mo'unga at 10 and Beauden Barrett at 15, which it's going to be hard to look at and hard to judge because coming up to like to the previous World Cup, like before that within the Rugby Championship, it received actually a lot of criticism for that for that system of having Richie Mo'unga and Beauden Barrett within the same team. Because in my opinion, I didn't think it worked as well. I mean, I personally would have put like. It's interesting that they're still going with it, and I rate it. It's something that like I'm not going to really downplay and say like, okay, fair enough. It wasn't a good option, and you just have to get rid of it. It's good to see that they're trying it, but I do think there's better options they could have gone with. Like personally for me, I would have gone with like, kept Richie Mo'unga at 10, but just don't play Beauden Barrett within the starting side. I mean, I personally would have put Jordie Barrett at 15 and put in Will Jordan at 14. That's what personally I would have done. I think Will Jordan has been he has literally been the the best player within Super Rugby Aotearoa. That's my opinion, but I think it's a pretty valid opinion, and where you can look at all the stats and what he got throughout that tournament, and he was he's just the best player. I mean, he got so many tries, he had so many run meters. Like, it's so surprising that he's missed out on like the actual side. Like, he's not even on the bench. So it's that's probably the one omission I'd say from the backs where I'm just like, wow, okay, that's kind of odd. But maybe he has a training injury that I haven't heard of, or maybe he's just not being selected for this match. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, I'm pretty happy with that selection of like the wingers with George Bridge and Geordie Barrett. I mean, I'm happy to see Barrett in. That's the great thing I like about this, is that they've actually kept Geordie Barrett within the side, and they've shifted him from 15, his normal position for the Hurricanes, to 14. So yeah, I like the sound of that really. And then yeah, I mean, another big one is Rico Leone joining Jack Goodhue within the center spot. So I mean, that's great to see, because I mean, Rico, he's had a tough shift in a sense where, like, when he first rose up within the All Black squad, I mean, he was arguably the best winger within the world. He was the breakthrough player of the year for, what was it, like 2017. So yeah, he was literally the best winger. But obviously, there's a lot of wingers and centers who were coming up, and his form dropped, I'd say, slightly, and he had to fair enough to him. He actually shifted his position to center, and he's done brilliantly, really, for the Blues. And yeah, he's definitely earned that spot within the starting lineup for the All Blacks for this game. So yeah, credit to him. I'm just happy to see him play, because he definitely deserves it. And then yeah, Jack Goodhue, he's just someone really you can rely on. So that's kind of understandable. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm happy with Aaron Smith as well. Happy that he's selected over TJ Perenara. But that's kind of a given, really, because for me personally, I think TJ Perenara is more of an impact player you can bring on the second half. But yeah, moving on to the bench, they have a decent bench. I mean, it's the All Blacks, really. They have Dan Coles, they have Carlton Afe, they have Nepalala, they have Tupou Valai, Hoskins Tutu, TJ Perenara, Anton Brown, and Caleb Clark. So yeah, no, the great thing about the bench, and what I'd love to see, is that they've actually, they have 3 players on the bench who will get their All Blacks debut if they, come off the bench, and that's Tupou Valai, Hoskins Tutu, and Caleb Clark. So I mean, that's just great to see that they're actually being, given a chance really within the opening game of the Bledisloe Cup. So yeah, credit to them, and that's kind of what I want to see. I mean, Anton Brown, he's one of the most reliable players in the world, so it's kind of odd to see him not being selected within the starting lineup, but I understand why they gone with Rico over him or Jack Goodhue over him. So yeah, that's kind of predictable. But yeah, like I said before, I mean, TJ Perenara can hopefully make an impact off the bench. Same as actually Tutu and maybe who else? Maybe Caleb Clark. I mean, I would love to see Caleb Clark come on. He's just one of those players who has such an impact on the Blues, where he can drag like 4 players to him and just open the field for everyone else. So he's that type of player who I really like to watch, and he has some crazy steps. So yeah, he's an exciting player to watch. But yeah, I think that's it with New Zealand. Moving on to Australia. So yeah, Australia have a very decent side as well. I mean, they're same as New Zealand in the sense where they have a lot of new players who are joining the side, and like I said, new coaches as well. And Dave Rennie has selected a side where, to be honest, when I first saw it, I was a bit disappointed, and obviously there's a lot of younger players they could have gone with, but I understand why they've gone with a lot of experience within this side for the first Bledisloe Cup match. So yeah, that's just my opinion on it. But yeah, let me go over the team right now. So number 1, they've selected James Slipper. At number 2, they're going with Flafanga. At 3, they're going with Taniela Tupou. At 4, they're going with Lachlan Salkai-Loto. At 5, they're going with Matt Phillip. At 6, they're going with Harry Wilson. Number 7, they're going with Michael Hooper, who's the captain of the side. And at number 8, they're going with Pete Samu. So yeah, no, it's kind of that's kind of the forward pack. I actually like that forward pack a lot. That's probably out of the, between the backs and forward pack, the forward pack is actually what I like more. I'd say James Slipper, I'd say is a bit odd to put in, but I understand why he's put in. He has a lot of experience. I mean, personally, I would have put Scott Seo, but there's not really too much of a difference there. I mean, yeah, James Slipper is good. I mean, Flafanga, I rate him so highly. I mean, I love him to bits, really. He scores so many tries as a hooker, so many tries. So that's definitely one area that New Zealand will be looking at to defend, really. And yeah, with Taniela Tupou, he's been brilliant for the Reds over Super Rugby AU. I think he was voted MVP of the tournament, which is great to see. Really, he's getting a lot of praise for what he's doing for the Reds. And yeah, no, with their with their locking positions with Lachlan Sakai-Loto and Matt Phillip. Kind of expected, really. I mean, both of them were probably the two informed locks throughout Super Rugby AU, so kind of given that they would be within that position. And yeah, no, I like it a bits, really. I mean, with Matt Phillip, like I said, with Whitelock and Tupulotu, like what Matt Phillip and Sakai-Loto both bring different attributes and skills. Like with Sakai-Loto being more of a ball carrier and Matt Phillip being more of like a line out distributor. So yeah, no, I definitely agree with that selection. And yeah, with the loose forwards with Harry Wilson, Michael Hooper, and Pete Samu, interesting selections really. With Harry Wilson being shifted to 6, which he has played there in the past, but I mean, it's hard to like actually put him in the side. But I like it though because you're essentially putting like 2 number 8s within the side with Harry Wilson and Pete Samu. So yeah, it's an interesting selection there. Michael Hooper, yeah, kind of a given that he'd be selected. Same with Sam Cane. I mean, personally, I love. Yeah, Michael Hooper is just one of those players who's just solid. He can give you like a 8 out of 10 performance every single day, and that's the exact same with Sam Cane. So yeah, definitely understand why they're both being selected as captain. But I mean, I would have loved to see Fraser McWright, be even. I don't even think he's on. Yeah, he's not even on the bench for the Wallabies. So he's one player that I've been very impressed by throughout Super Rugby AU. So yeah, hopefully he gets a shot in the near future. But yeah, no, with Pete Samu as well, he's been brilliant really for the Brumbies. I mean, he really helped the Brumbies to win Super Rugby AU. Like, he had some good performances throughout. I mean, he even scored a few tries, which is odd to see from him. So yeah, it's just great to see him really within that forward pack. So yeah, moving on to the backs. At number 9, they selected Nick White. At number 10, they're going James O'Connor. At 11, they're going Marika Corbetti. At 12, they're going Matt Matsumua. 13, they're going Hunter Pasami. 14, they're going Filippo Dangadu, and at 15, they're going Tom Banks. So yeah, no, very interesting selection really within the back line. First thing I can point out, which I'm kind of happy they've gone with, is James O'Connor at 10. That's what I love to see because he's been actually very influential for the Reds throughout Super Rugby AU. And yeah, to have Matt Tumu at 12, that's perfect. That is literally the perfect selection of what Dave Rennie has gone with, and I totally agree with it. I mean, both of them are playmakers really, and yeah, it's just great to see. You're going to get, like, I guarantee you, one of those two will get assists within this match. I'm so confident about that. I mean, they really impressed me throughout Super Rugby AU. So, yeah, I'm very confident they'll at least get an assist because both of them were very high on those numbers throughout Super Rugby AU. Yeah, Nick White at number 9, kind of an odd selection, really. He didn't just come back from Exeter Chiefs and join the Brumbies for Super Rugby AU. He had a few decent performances, but personally, I would have gone with Tate McDermott. I mean, I think he's the younger scrum half, and he just has more of ability to break through defenses. So that's kind of why I would have gone with him. And yeah, with the wingers, with Corbetti and Filippo Dangadu. And yeah, no, they've been both brilliant, really. With Corbetti just being outstanding as normal, really, for the Rebels, and with Filippo Dangadu for the Reds just being a standout really for the Reds. I mean, he was brilliant. I mean, he was probably the best winger throughout Super Rugby AU. I mean, he had so many stats favored to him. Like, I think he had the most ball carries, ball carry meters. I think the most tries maybe within the competition. So yeah, definitely deserves to be within the starting lineup. And yeah, interesting to see Hunter Pasami being selected in the center spot. Definitely great to see that. I mean, he's been brilliant really for the Reds. Personally, I mean, I'm gonna agree with it really, but if I had to go with I like this a lot more because it's just it's more of a youth injection within the side. But personally, I would have gone with Reece Hodge. I mean, that's actually the one area I would have gone with more of an experienced player within 13 because the 13 role was such a influential position in playmaking ability and how you're going from you're literally giving the ball most of the time to the wingers. And Hunter Pasami, I mean, he's a wrecking ball. Don't get me wrong. He's like Liam Mape in a sense for the Wallabies. But yeah, I mean, personally, I would have gone with Reece Hodge. But yeah, I'm happy to see him being selected. Really, Pasami. I mean, hopefully he can do some damage within this game. And yeah, last position with 15, Tom Banks. Happy to see him selected. That's the exact person who I think should be 15 for Australia. I mean, really, you can go against either Tom Banks, Reece Hodge, or maybe Jack Mannix. But yeah, I think Tom Banks just edges it, and he's been brilliant throughout Super Rugby AU really for the Brumbies. So yeah, credit to him. He definitely deserves to be 15. So yeah, moving on to the bench. They have a decent bench as well. I mean, of course they're going to both have decent benches, but they've selected Jordan Uwasi, they have Scott Sear, they have Alan Atoa, they have Rob Simmons, they have Rob Valentini. They have the likes of Jake Gordon, Noah Seo, and Reece Hodge. So no, it's a very interesting selection, you could say. There's a few players who've been, or not even in the side, which is crazy to think, like the likes of Fraser McWright, Liam Wright. You don't even have like, yeah, it's a bit crazy the players that they haven't selected really, but yeah, I mean I'm not really gonna complain. I mean a lot of these players are really good. I mean Noah Sale can definitely make an impact off the bench. He can fit really within the 12 spot or 10 spot, so that's something good to have. I mean same with Reece Hodge, you can either slot within the 13 slot or 15 or even 14 if you have to. So yeah, that's why I like Australia's squad more because they have a lot of players can really rotate within the different positions. So that's nice to have. And yeah, I mean, UAC coming off the bench as a hooker for Fafang could do some damage. He's a tall bloke, really. I mean, like for his, I think he's like, I might be wrong with this, but I think he's like 6'4", or like, that's you don't really see that with a lot of hookers really nowadays. So it's good to see that Australia have that kind of advantage to bring off the bench. That'll be interesting. And yeah, I mean, they're the likes of Alan Alato as well, who's just a beast really within that front row and definitely can help within the scrum within the second half. So yeah, that's it with both sides. Just now with my prediction for the game, it's hard to tell like who will do well because obviously both sides are very new. Like I said, new coaches to this game as well, so the tactics might be a bit different to what we've seen in the past from both sides. But if I had to just go with the obvious selection, I'd probably say New Zealand to win. But I'd say it's going to be a close game, and I'm going to say New Zealand would win this by. I feel it'll be a high scoring match because it's just. I'm going to say New Zealand will win this by 32 to 23. I'm going to say that 32-23. That'll be my final prediction for this game. Yeah. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, see you guys next time.